The chamber of the alien council was vast, carved from crystal and metal that shimmered under 1,000 lights. Delegates from across the galaxy filled the curved rows of seats. Massive screens hung above them, showing maps of star systems and the names of member races. Ships drifted past the station's great windows, silent shadows against a backdrop of endless stars, yet one name always burned red on the display: Earth. For centuries, the Council had sent envoys, probes, and transmissions toward the blue planet. Every signal had gone unanswered. Every attempt to land had failed. Probes were destroyed before they reached the surface. Diplomats never returned. Humanity had remained a ghost in the galactic order. The Council had grown bold. To them, silence meant weakness. Silence meant fear. High Chancellor Vorath rose from his seat. His tall, insectoid frame gleamed with ceremonial armor as his voice echoed. Once again, humanity ignores us. Once again, they reject our rule. How long shall we tolerate this? If Earth refuses to join, then Earth must be taken, murmurs spread across the chamber. Some delegates nodded eagerly, their faces filled with contempt. Others shifted uneasily, remembering ancient legends about humans. On the far side of the hall, an elder reptilian delegate raised his claw. His scaled voice was deep and slow. You forget history. When humans fought each other on their own world, their wars shook continents. They do not bend easily. They do not surrender, laughter answered him. A dozen voices mocked the warning. They are primitives. They hide because they are weak. Earth is nothing but a silent planet. But then the lights in the chamber flickered. The great screens changed, replacing maps with static. Delegates froze as strange signals broke through the Council's secure network. At first, it seemed like noise, then shapes began to appear, shadows moving against the darkness of space. Location, demanded the Chancellor. A technician's voice trembled. Outer Sol system. Near Neptune, the screens cleared and the chamber fell into silence. A massive silhouette emerged from the icy dark. It was shaped like no alien vessel ever recorded. Long, angular, armored in layers that reflected no light, the ship drifted silently past Neptune's shadow. Delegates leaned forward in disbelief. That cannot be human. It is too large. No human world could build such a vessel. Is it a ghost ship? The ship moved closer, and details sharpened. Towers bristled with railgun batteries. Its hull carried scars from tests, not battles. Its engines pulsed with raw power, and on its side, painted in stark white, 2 words glowed across the black United Nations. The Council chamber erupted in chaos. Impossible. They are alive. They have been building. The elder reptilian delegate closed his eyes. I warned you. They were silent, not because they were weak, but because they were watching. Across the galaxy, alien fleets scrambled. Patrols near Sol reported sudden losses. Drones vanished from the Kuiper Belt. Listening stations near Pluto went dark. Humanity, long thought to be isolated and fractured, was moving. Inside the great ship, men and women in dark uniforms worked in silence. Their faces were hard, disciplined, carrying the weight of generations. The captain stood at the command deck, watching the screens as alien ships began to approach. Council vessels detected, reported the officer. How many? Asked the captain. 2 destroyers. 1 carrier. The captain did not blink. Bring weapons online. We speak when ready. The crew moved without hesitation. Cannons powered up. Railguns hummed. Torpedo tubes locked into place. The ship, named UNS Resolute, turned slowly toward its prey. Back in the Council chamber, alarms rang. The Chancellor shouted orders, demanding that the approaching fleets bring the ship down. Yet no one could look away from the screen. For centuries, humanity had been absent, forgotten, ignored. But now, in the frozen dark of Neptune's orbit, the truth had been revealed. Earth was not silent. Earth was preparing. The first alien destroyer hailed the Resolute. Its voice filled the human bridge, dripping with arrogance. This is the authority of the Galactic Council. Identify yourselves and power down your weapons. You will surrender immediately. Silence filled the human ship. The crew waited for their captain. Seconds stretched into an eternity. Finally, the captain spoke. His voice was calm, steady, and cold. "This is Earth's answer." The words carried across the void, through encrypted channels, and into the council chamber itself. Every delegate heard them. Every commander froze. On the Resolute, the order was given. Fire, cannons ignited. Railguns spat fire across the dark. Alien shields shattered in a single barrage. The destroyer crumbled into fragments before its crew could react. The carrier turned to flee, but torpedoes streaked after it, tearing it apart in silence. Only one alien ship remained, its captain begging for orders. The council chamber roared with panic. Impossible. One ship destroyed 3. They cannot be allowed to rise. But on the screen, the human dreadnought kept advancing. Its weapons glowed. Its engines burned brighter. Humanity had shown its first card, and the galaxy had finally seen their hand. The reptilian delegate whispered into the silence. The silent planet has spoken. And the chamber went dark as the Resolute's massive shadow filled the screens, blocking the stars. The Council's vision clears for only a second before new signals appear. Multiple human vessels are detected. More silhouettes rising from the icy shadows of Neptune's orbit. The wreckage of 3 alien ships drifted in silence, their broken hulls reflecting the cold light of Neptune. Where once there had been arrogance and laughter, now there was only fear. The dreadnought UNS Resolute stood unharmed, its armor glowing faintly from the heat of battle. Across the galaxy, council members struggled to believe what they had just seen. A single human vessel had shattered a fleet designed to patrol entire sectors. The chamber erupted with shouts. "This cannot be real. They have weapons we do not understand. Destroy them before they grow stronger." High Chancellor Vorath slammed his claw against the podium, demanding order. His voice, sharp and commanding, cut through the noise. "One ship does not make a fleet. Humanity cannot hide behind shadows forever. We will send more. We will end this," but not all agreed. The elder reptilian delegate rose again, his scaled face grim. "You have made a mistake. For centuries, they stayed silent while we thought ourselves mighty. Did you ask why? No, you mocked them. You called them weak. Now their silence has ended." His warning was ignored. Plans were already forming for retaliation. While the council argued, the Resolute drifted closer to Neptune's rings. On its bridge, the crew worked in silence. Their captain stood at the viewport, eyes locked on the stars beyond. "Status," he ordered. "Shields intact. Weapons cycling." "Engines steady," replied the officer. "We are ready for the next wave." The captain nodded. His face was hard, carved from years of command. Around him, the crew carried no trace of panic. This was what they had been raised for. Generations ago, when Earth first detected alien signals, the leaders of humanity had chosen a different path. They did not answer. They did not reach out. Instead, they united. Governments, corporations, and colonies buried their rivalries, driven by a single fear: survival. While aliens expanded across the stars, humanity dug deep into its own system. They hollowed moons, forged shipyards beneath ice, and mined asteroids for metals no outsider would see. They trained in silence, waiting for the day they would be tested. The Resolute was the first of many. A ship built not for exploration, but for war. The communications officer broke the silence. "Incoming hail. Multiple signals. Alien reinforcements arriving." The captain's voice was calm. On screen, the viewport shimmered as new ships dropped out of warp. Dozens this time, sleek frigates, heavy cruisers, and another carrier. Their hulls glittered with alien banners, proud symbols of the Council's might. One ship hailed the Resolute, its commander a tall avian figure with feathers of silver and a voice full of arrogance. "Humans, you are ordered to power down and prepare for boarding. The Council does not negotiate with primitives. Your resistance is meaningless." On the bridge of the Resolute, the crew exchanged glances, but said nothing. The captain's expression did not change. "Channel open?" he asked. "Yes, sir." The captain stepped forward, his voice steady and cold. "You call this your first contact?" "We call it your last warning," the alien commander sneered. "You think you can fight the entire council with one ship?" The captain's eyes narrowed. One ship is never alone. As if on cue, new signals appeared on the tactical screen. From the shadows near Neptune, more human ships emerged. Their hulls reflected no light, their engines burning silently until they ignited with power. Frigates, cruisers, and carriers shaped like blades, forged in secret beneath the icy moons. The bridge filled with the sound of quiet gasps from the crew. For the first time in centuries, they were no longer alone. Humanity's fleet was rising, the alien commander faltered. His eyes darted across the growing number of contacts. Dozens of human vessels now stood between his fleet and Earth's system. The Resolute's captain gave the order. Formation Delta, weapons live. Show them Earth's silence was not weakness, engines roared. Human ships aligned in precise patterns, railguns locking onto targets, torpedoes arming, point defense cannons humming. The silence of centuries was replaced with the thunder of preparation. In the council chamber, chaos returned. Delegates shouted, demanded answers, called for retreat. Yet the Chancellor refused to back down. "They cannot stand against the full council fleet," he barked. "We will crush them before they spread." But the elder reptilian's eyes remained fixed on the screen. He whispered words no one wanted to hear. "They are not spreading. They are already here." Back at Neptune, the alien fleet prepared to fire. Their commanders believed sheer numbers would be enough. They believed arrogance could overcome preparation. On the bridge of the Resolute, the captain raised his hand. Fire at will. Railguns lit the darkness. Their slugs traveling faster than the eye could follow. Alien shields crumbled in the first wave. Human torpedoes carved glowing trails, tearing through hulls like paper. Alien ships scattered, trying to regroup, but human vessels pursued them with merciless precision. The galaxy watched in silence as the impossible unfolded. The Council, proud and arrogant, had been forced into their first real war in generations. And the enemy they had mocked as primitive was not only fighting back, but winning. As explosions lit Neptune's orbit, one transmission broke across every channel. It was the captain of the Resolute, his voice cold and final. "Earth stayed silent because we were listening. Now we are ready to speak." The alien fleet's final carrier begins transmitting emergency signals. But before it can retreat, sensors detect something even greater. A massive human fleet is rising from the shadows of Saturn's rings. The battlefield over Neptune was a graveyard of fire and twisted metal. Shattered alien hulls drifted in silence, their engines gone dark. The cold rings glowed faintly as explosions lit the black, each flash marking another council vessel falling to Earth's hidden fleet. Yet even in ruin, the aliens did not retreat. Reinforcements poured from hyperspace, filling the void with more warships than humanity had faced in centuries. Cruisers, frigates, and destroyers took formation, their weapons charging, their engines burning bright. Inside the council chamber, delegates watched the live feed in horror. Hundreds of alien warships surrounded the human fleet, tightening the circle like hunters around prey. The Chancellor's voice thundered above the chaos. "Now humanity will fall. Even their arrogance cannot stand against this." But the elder reptilian delegate shook his scaled head. His voice was quiet, but it carried far. "You do not understand. They have trained for this moment their entire lives. They have built for this fight in silence. If you think them cornered, then you are already lost." Back aboard the UNS Resolute, alarms filled the bridge. Dozens of hostile locks painted the ship's hull. The tactical officer read out the numbers in a tense voice. Multiple targets. 173 confirmed. More inbound. The crew waited for fear to break them, but none came. Their captain stood tall at the viewport, his hands folded behind his back. His eyes scanned the endless swarm of enemy ships, then settled on his crew. "Hold steady," he said. "They think numbers will save them. They do not know what we carry." The weapons officer's voice was eager. Railguns charged. Torpedo bays loaded. The captain gave a single nod. "Target the carrier. Fire when ready." The Resolute turned slowly, its hull gleaming with silent menace. Then its cannons ignited. Railgun slugs roared into the void, invisible, until they tore through alien shields with unstoppable force. The first carrier erupted in a chain of explosions, its wreckage splitting apart before it could launch its fighters. Human ships moved in perfect formation, unleashing a storm of fire. Alien cruisers tried to scatter, but the humans were faster, their weapons precise, every shot deliberate. For the first time in generations, the Council's warships were not the hunters. They were the hunted. On the alien flagship, Commander Tavar screeched orders to his crew. His feathered crest shook with rage. Regroup the line. Overwhelm their flagship. Crush it beneath our fire. A storm of energy blasts slammed into the Resolute's hull. The bridge shook, sparks rained down, but the ship held. Armor plates glowed red-hot, but the dreadnought refused to break. The tactical officer smiled grimly. They underestimate our plating. The captain's eyes narrowed. Let them waste their fire. Return double. The Resolute's forward batteries answered. Alien frigates crumbled into fragments, torn apart by kinetic slugs, moving faster than sound could travel. Human torpedoes pierced through the gaps, exploding deep inside enemy reactors. Each blast lit the darkness like a dying star. Still, more alien ships closed in. The human fleet fought fiercely, but the circle was tightening. One mistake, one slip, and the enemy would tear them apart. In the council chamber, voices shouted over each other. They cannot win against so many. Send more ships. They are doomed. But the elder reptilian's eyes never left the screen. His voice was steady, filled with grim certainty. You still do not see. This is not desperation. This is demonstration. Back at Neptune, the alien flagship pushed forward. Its guns charged for a killing blow, energy building into a blinding light. On the Resolute, the crew braced for impact. The captain did not move. Instead, he raised his hand. Bring it online, he ordered. The crew froze for a heartbeat. They knew what he meant. The weapon that had never been tested in battle. The weapon kept hidden for this very moment. Beneath the Resolute's armored hull, massive coils began to spin. Energy surged, magnetic fields bending into impossible shapes. The ship's power grid strained under the weight of the charge. The captain spoke quietly, his words for his crew alone. They thought us silent. Let them hear us now. The coils released. A beam of pure kinetic energy tore through space, faster than any weapon fielded by alien fleets. It cut through the alien flagship as if it were made of paper. Shields collapsed instantly. Armor cracked apart. The flagship split in two, its core detonating in a blast that lit Neptune's orbit brighter than the sun. The battlefield froze. For one long moment, no ship moved. Alien commanders stared in shock. Council delegates covered their faces in disbelief. Humanity had revealed a weapon no one had expected. A weapon that could turn the tide of wars in seconds. On the bridge of the Resolute, silence returned. The captain lowered his hand, his face carved from stone. Target the next wave, he said calmly. We are not finished. Just as the human fleet regains momentum, sensors detect something massive rising from Saturn's rings. The transmission cuts to black as alien commanders and council delegates alike realize the truth. Neptune was never humanity's stronghold. Saturn as the council chamber was no longer a hall of order and debate. It had become a storm. Alien delegates shouted across the curved rows, their voices sharp with panic. The destruction of the flagship at Neptune echoed across every holoscreen. What was once arrogance had turned to fear. Some slammed their fists against the railing, demanding war. Others whispered of retreat, their eyes wide with dread. Chancellor Vorath rose above them all, his insectoid frame tall, his armor glinting under the lights. His mandibles clicked in rage as he struck the podium with a thunderous blow. Silence! His voice cracked through the chamber. This chaos is what humanity wants. Do you not see? They provoke us into fear. We must strike them now with everything we have. If they rise unchecked, they will challenge us all. But his words did not calm the storm. A dozen voices shouted back, "They already challenge us." One ship destroyed a fleet. They were silent because they were hiding, not because they were weak. On the far side, the elder reptilian delegate stood. His scales caught the blue light as his gaze swept across the chamber. His voice was deep, slow, and steady. "You do not fight primitives. You fight survivors. For centuries they planned while we laughed. For centuries they built while we argued. Look at what they fielded from Neptune alone. Ask yourselves this: if they could hide such power in the dark, what waits closer to their home?" The chamber fell into uneasy quiet. Delegates shifted, uneasy under his words, but then a sharp alarm pierced the hall. Every delegate turned toward the great screens overhead. New signals were flooding in. Massive energy readings from Saturn's orbit. Unknown contacts emerging by the dozens. Gasps echoed across the chamber. More ships. "They are everywhere. They have turned their own system into a fortress." The Chancellor's mandibles clicked with fury. "Enough of this fear. Mobilize the fleets. If humanity wishes for war, we will show them war. They cannot stand against the combined might of the galaxy, but doubt already spread among the Council. Some races feared the cost. Others remembered old battles, old losses, when even primitive humans had bled themselves dry but never surrendered. Meanwhile, across the stars, alien media broadcasted the battle footage. Billions watched as the Resolute tore through fleets, its hidden weapon splitting a flagship in two. Across the galaxy, whispers grew. If they did this in silence, what will they do in war? Back in Sol System, the humans were already moving. From the shadowed rings of Saturn, the truth revealed itself. The icy chunks that circled the giant planet cracked open like shells. From within, titanic hangars rose. Engines ignited in the dark, and colossal warships emerged, larger than any seen before. Saturn's rings glittered, not with ice alone, but with the glint of steel. The human fleet poured out in disciplined formation, their hulls marked with the crest of Earth, a blue sphere surrounded by white stars. On the bridge of the UNS Resolute, the crew watched the feed. Eyes widened as ship after ship joined them, filling the tactical display with green signatures. "By all reports," the officer whispered, "this is only a fraction. The main fleet is still hidden beneath Titan's surface." The captain's expression hardened, though his voice carried no joy, only resolve. Then it begins. Phase 2 is ready. Across Saturn's moon Titan, ancient bunkers opened. Missiles the size of towers rose from silos buried for centuries. Defense platforms powered up, their guns glowing faintly in the haze of methane skies. The humans had not built one fortress. They had built an empire in waiting. Back in the council chamber, panic turned to open division. Delegates pointed claws, tendrils and hands at one another. "You promised they were primitive." "You mocked them, now they come for us." "We must negotiate before they strike." "No, to negotiate is to kneel. We must destroy them before they destroy us." The chamber nearly erupted into violence. Guards rushed in to hold back furious delegates, but the damage was done. The council was no longer united. The elder reptilian raised his claw one last time. His voice was quiet, but it carried across the din. "Mark my words. They did not rise to conquer. They rose to survive. But if you force their hand, they will show us all what survival truly means." Silence fell for a heartbeat. Then the screen shifted again. A human transmission was overriding council networks. The image of Earth appeared. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds spinning in the sunlight. For the first time in centuries, the silent planet spoke. The transmission carried a single voice, calm, human, unyielding. "You mocked our silence. You mistook our patience for weakness. Now you will learn the truth. Earth has returned." The broadcast cut, replaced by live tactical data. Hundreds of human ships were moving into formation around Saturn. Their heading was not outward, but inward, straight toward Earth. The galaxy had seen many fleets, but never this. Saturn's rings, once thought to be nothing but ice and stone, cracked open with hidden doors the size of cities. From beneath, engines thundered to life. Warships rose from their icy graves, towering silhouettes casting shadows against the gas giant's swirling clouds. The feed spread across every council world. Millions watched as hundreds of ships emerged, forming ranks with flawless precision. Their hulls were dark, sharp, and brutal. The emblem of Earth shone white on every prow. The chamber of the alien council was silent for once. Delegates stared at the screens, their voices stolen by the scale of the revelation. Humanity had not hidden a single dreadnought. They had hidden a navy. On Titan's surface, the methane haze glowed with fire. Hangars carved deep into the moon's crust opened, releasing smaller craft by the thousands. Defense towers rose from beneath the ice, railguns the size of skyscrapers aligning toward the stars. It was not a colony. It was not an outpost. Titan was a fortress. Inside the command chamber of Titan Base, human officers moved with machine-like discipline. Maps of the solar system glowed across the walls. Orders were transmitted without hesitation. Generals who had lived their entire lives in secrecy now stood revealed. A grey-haired commander looked out across the hangar bays, watching soldiers march in formation, rifles slung across their backs. Dropships prepared for launch, their engines rumbling like distant thunder. Centuries of silence, the commander said. Centuries of doubt. Now they see what Earth has become. Back aboard the UNS Resolute, the crew watched the display as ship after ship joined their formation. The tactical officer could hardly keep up with the growing flood of signatures. 200. 300. More contacts inbound. The captain remained steady, his hands clasped behind his back. His voice was calm, but his eyes gleamed with something sharper than pride. They thought us a whisper. Now they will hear our roar. Alien fleets arriving at the edge of Saturn froze in place. Their commanders stared at the impossible sight. Their ships, proud and gleaming with centuries of victories, suddenly seemed small and fragile beside the human behemoths. One alien admiral sent a desperate broadcast across the battlefield. Council forces, regroup. Hold your lines. Do not fear their numbers. They are but one world. But even his crew could hear the tremor in his voice. On Titan, soldiers stood ready inside armored troop carriers. For generations, they had been raised on a single creed: Earth endures. Now, for the first time, they would carry that creed into battle beyond their system. In the council chamber, panic returned. This is not possible. They were supposed to be fractured. No single world can build this. Chancellor Vorath's voice cut through, though even he faltered at the sight. Then they are no longer one world. They are an army! They must be crushed before they march on us all. But the elder reptilian delegate did not join the shouting. His golden eyes remained fixed on the screens. His voice was low, heavy with warning. Do you not understand? They are not marching to conquer. They are marching home. Look, and he was right. The human fleet was not pushing outward toward alien space. Instead, it was aligning, turning slowly, engines flaring. Their course was set not for expansion, but for Earth itself. From orbit, Earth looked unchanged. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds spun in their endless dance. To alien eyes, it seemed as it always had. Fragile, quiet, vulnerable. But as the fleet drew nearer, the truth revealed itself. The planet's orbit was not empty. Massive orbital platforms, cloaked until now, flickered into view. Gigantic rings encircled the Earth like glowing crowns, each armed with batteries capable of tearing apart fleets. On the ground, cities glowed brighter than ever. Under the oceans, deep silos stirred, preparing weapons no alien eye had ever witnessed. Earth itself was not undefended. Earth had become the core of a war machine. Inside the council chamber, the weight of realization fell upon every delegate. They were never hiding because they were afraid, whispered one. They were building because they knew this day would come, said another. The elder reptilian finally spoke, his words a final verdict. The silent planet was never weak. It was waiting. And now it awakens. Back aboard the Resolute, the captain gave the command. His voice rang through the fleet, carried across every channel, human and alien alike. Formation locked. Begin Phase 2. All ships prepare for Earth defense grid activation. Engines roared. The fleet surged forward, cutting across Saturn's rings like blades of fire. Soldiers braced in their carriers, weapons ready, orbital platforms powered up. Silos opened across the seas of Earth. For centuries, humanity had been a whisper in the dark. Now their voice thundered across the stars, alarms lit across every council world. A hidden data leak revealed humanity's last secret. Beneath Earth's crust was a weapon so vast, so dangerous, it could tip the balance of the galaxy forever. The countdown to its activation had already begun. The fleet surged past Saturn, their engines blazing across the void. From the edges of the system, alien reinforcements hesitated. Commanders who once mocked humanity now hesitated to move closer. Their fleets holding position at the rim of Sol, none dared enter the gravity well of Earth. For the first time, the galaxy looked upon humanity's homeworld with open fear. The council chamber was filled with whispers and disbelief. The screens showed Earth in perfect clarity. Blue oceans, green continents, white clouds swirling across its skies. To alien eyes, it was a jewel, untouched, vulnerable. But as the human fleet drew closer, illusions faded. Cloaking fields collapsed. Massive structures shimmered into view. Orbital platforms larger than moons circled the planet, their railguns aligned like guardians. Gigantic space elevators stretched from the surface into the black, bristling with missile batteries. Entire continents pulsed with the faint glow of energy grids buried beneath. Earth was no longer a simple world. It was a fortress. Gasps filled the council chamber. This cannot be the same Earth. They turned their home into a fortress world. No single species could build this without detection. But the evidence was undeniable. Humanity had spent centuries not only building in secret across Saturn and Neptune, but transforming Earth itself into the strongest bastion in known space. Alien spies scrambled to intercept signals. Hidden probes deep in Sol sent data back to the Council. What they found chilled even the most hardened commanders. Massive silos hidden beneath Earth's oceans. Orbital rings doubling as weapon platforms. Power grids running into the very crust of the planet, and at the heart of it all, classified files whispered of something greater. A weapon hidden so deep, no satellite had ever detected it. Buried in Earth's mantle, powered by forces no alien dared to use. Inside the council chamber, delegates erupted into new chaos. They built a superweapon. They mean to destroy us all. We must strike before it is activated. Chancellor Vorath slammed the podium. His mandibles flared with fury. Then strike we shall. Assemble every fleet, every army. Humanity has shown its true nature. They will not stop with defense. They will come for us next. But the elder reptilian rose, his scaled hand trembling as he pointed at the screens. His voice was low, heavy with certainty. No, you misunderstand again. Look at them. They are not marching on us. They are not leaving Sol. All of this. The chamber fell silent at his words. Meanwhile, aboard the UNS Resolute, the bridge buzzed with disciplined energy. The captain stood tall. A Sol of this is for survival. They built this because they knew one day we would come. And now we have. The blue curve of Earth filled the viewport. His crew worked with precision, eyes fixed on the tactical displays. The communications officer turned. Sir, all Earth defense platforms are online. Orbital grids are at full power. The homeworld stands ready. The captain's voice was calm, but each word carried iron. Then let the galaxy watch. Earth is not silent anymore. Across the planet, soldiers march through massive armored gates. Carriers rose from hidden bases, filling the skies. Submarines surfaced, their silos opening with missiles the size of towers, and in the deepest levels of Earth, far below the crust, the hidden weapons stirred. Alarms blared in alien intelligence stations as the data leak grew clearer. Energy spikes unlike anything recorded, readings that defied known physics. On a distant alien world, a general whispered to his staff, what could they build in their mantle? No answer came. The council chamber watched as Earth's defenses powered fully. The planet glowed like a star, its surface laced with energy lines, visible even from orbit. Humanity had turned their world into both shield and sword. Vorath's mandibles clicked in fury. If they complete whatever they are building beneath their crust, none of us will survive. It must be stopped now. But even as he spoke, the feeds revealed something darker. A transmission from Earth broke across every galactic channel. A human voice, clear and unyielding, echoed in the halls of power across thousands of worlds. For centuries you laughed at our silence. For centuries you called us weak. You mistook patience for fear. That mistake will end today. Earth stands ready. The voice cut to static. Then the Council's secure screens lit up with new warnings. The weapon beneath Earth had begun charging. Every Council fleet scrambled toward Sol, desperate to strike before it was too late. But the final image burned across the galaxy, Earth itself glowing brighter as the hidden weapon stirred, and the timer on its activation ticking down. The galaxy held its breath. Every fleet that could move was now racing towards Sol. From the burning suns of the core worlds to the frozen rims of the outer systems, warships jumped, desperate to reach Earth before the countdown ended. The alien council chamber seethed with panic. Delegates shouted over one another, voices breaking under the pressure of what they had seen. They have a planet killer. No, it is worse, something we do not understand. If Earth fires that weapon, the balance of the galaxy is gone forever. Chancellor Vorath's mandibles snapped together. His fury burned through his voice. Then we must strike before it awakens. Mobilize every dreadnought, every soldier. Humanity must not be allowed to use that weapon. But again, the elder reptilian delegate spoke softly, his golden eyes fixed on the screen. You still do not see. This is not a weapon for conquest. This is a weapon for survival. It was never meant for us. It was meant for something else. His words chilled the chamber into silence, but no one wanted to believe him. Far below Earth's surface, the hidden facility pulsed with life. Machinery older than any living human groaned as titanic reactors awoke. Miles of superheated conduits glowed red through the mantle, feeding energy into a chamber larger than cities. Inside that chamber floated the weapon. It was not a cannon, nor a missile, nor anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was a lattice of living metal, twisting and reshaping itself like it breathed. Every beat of its pulse echoed through the crust. Every surge of its power sent waves across the oceans. The chamber shook. Earth itself trembled as though the planet's heart was waking. In the command center above, human officers stood in silence. Generals who had spent lifetimes preparing for this day finally watched their secret revealed. One young officer whispered, unable to stop himself, "Sir, what exactly are we activating?" The gray-haired commander answered without hesitation, "Hope." Above Earth, the UNS Resolute held formation with the fleet. Sensors flared with impossible readings. The tactical officer stared at the numbers, his hands frozen over the console. "Captain, the energy levels are beyond known limits. If that thing fires, it could split a planet." The captain did not flinch. His eyes remained locked on the blue curve of Earth below. Then pray it never fires. At the edge of Sol, the first alien fleets dropped out of jump. Thousands of ships surged into formation, their weapons trained on Earth. Commanders screamed into comms, "Push forward. We cannot wait. Destroy the weapon before it awakens." But their advance halted as humanity's fleet intercepted them. Hundreds of human warships, sharp and dark against the stars, blocked the approach. Saturn's guardians, Titan's fortress, Neptune's defenses, all had gathered now. The void erupted in fire. Railguns thundered. Missiles streaked like burning comets. The Battle of Sol began. Alien dreadnoughts poured into the system, but each wave met walls of iron and flame. Human warships fought like predators, vanishing into Saturn's shadows, reappearing with devastating strikes. Even when ships were torn apart, their wreckage became weapons, dragging enemy fleets into Saturn's rings. The council chamber watched the feed in horror. They fight like they knew this day would come. They do not retreat. They do not falter. This is no last stand. This is a beginning. And then the signal came. From deep beneath Earth, a pulse burst across the stars. Every ship, human and alien alike, felt the tremor ripple through their hulls. Weapons flickered. Shields shuddered. For a single moment the galaxy seemed to stop. Inside the command chamber on Earth, the great machine awoke. The lattice of living metal unfolded, spinning into a sphere that burned with impossible light. The ground cracked for miles as power surged into the weapon. The countdown reached its final mark. The grey-haired commander's voice echoed across human comms. All units, hold position. The heart of Earth is awakening. Panic gripped the alien fleets. Admirals screamed orders to fire, to break through, to stop the activation at any cost. But every advance was met with brutal resistance. Human ships gave their lives willingly, blocking every path to Earth. The elder reptilian delegate leaned forward in the council chamber, his eyes narrowing as the screens blazed with Earth's light. "It is not a cannon," he whispered. "It is not meant to destroy." The chamber turned toward him, confusion in every gaze. "Then what is it?" one delegate demanded. The elder's voice was heavy with dread. "It is a beacon." The screens flickered. The weapon beneath Earth flared with light brighter than the sun. A final pulse surged into the void, spreading across the galaxy. Beyond stars, beyond borders, beyond even the reach of known space, every world felt it. Every ship heard it. Every species saw it. Humanity had not built a weapon of destruction. They had built a call, and something answered. The beacon signal echoes back from beyond the edge of the galaxy. Something vast, something ancient is coming, and the galaxy suddenly realizes humanity's silence had never been about them. It had been about what was out there. The galaxy had always believed itself old, wise, and secure. But when Earth's beacon roared into the void, that illusion shattered. The pulse raced beyond the stars, beyond known charts, and for one terrible moment, nothing returned. Then the answers came. Sensors across the Sol system flared with readings too large to comprehend. Space itself rippled. At the edge of detection, something vast stirred in the dark between galaxies. The alien council chamber fell silent as the feeds came in. Unfathomable size. Moving at impossible speed. "It is coming here," panic erupted. "You fools! Humanity has summoned a monster. They have doomed us all. We must annihilate Earth before..." But their voices broke when the elder reptilian delegate rose. His golden eyes gleamed calm in the storm of fear. "No, humanity has not summoned it. Humanity has prepared for it. That is why they were silent. That is why they built. They were never hiding from us. They were hiding us from it." In the void above Earth, the human fleet tightened formation. Wounded ships refused to fall back. Even damaged, they moved with grim purpose, engines burning, weapons locked. On the UNS Resolute, the captain stood before the viewport, Earth glowing bright behind him. His crew waited, hands steady over their stations. The tactical officer reported, voice low but strong. "Captain, unknown contacts approaching from beyond the rim. Size immeasurable." The captain nodded once. "Then we are no longer silent. Open all channels." His voice carried across human and alien frequencies alike. "This is Earth. You wish to know why we stayed silent? Now you will see. The darkness we feared has come, and we are the wall that will hold." The alien fleets around Sol faltered. For the first time, many commanders hesitated to fire. The council itself was split, half demanding Earth's destruction, the other half staring at the incoming threat with dawning terror. Then the sensors showed it. From the black came shapes larger than moons, vast leviathans of living metal, their bodies glistening with cold fire. Their wings spread like solar flares, their voices a chorus of static that shook every ship's hull. The intruders were not ships. They were not armies. They were something older. Something built for consumption. A swarm of devourers, endless in number, pouring towards Sol like a tide. The galaxy had never faced them before. Humanity had. Inside Earth's mantle, the heart of Earth flared brighter, its living lattice twisting into new forms. It sent out another pulse, not of warning, but of command. Human fleets realigned instantly. Orbital rings shifted, their weapons blazing. Titan's fortress opened fire. Railguns tearing holes in the first wave of leviathans. Earth itself roared. The oceans split as colossal cannons rose from the depths, firing lances of plasma that ripped apart invaders in the upper atmosphere. Mountain ranges shook as silos launched warheads into orbit. The planet that had once been thought fragile now fought like a titan. The first clash was apocalyptic. Alien dreadnoughts and human warships alike poured fire into the endless swarm. Explosions painted Saturn's rings with fire. Neptune's dark skies lit as weapons tore apart leviathans that crashed into its storms. But for every beast destroyed, 10 more surged forward. Their screeches rattled mines, their claws cut ships in half, their numbers blotted out the stars. On the Council's feed, horror spread. Delegates who once mocked humanity now watched in silence as humans hurled themselves into impossible battle, unflinching. One delegate whispered what all feared: "If Earth falls, we all fall." On the UNS Resolute, alarms blared as 3 leviathans broke through. The crew braced as the ship shuddered, claws scraping against its hull. Soldiers rushed to boarding stations, weapons ready. The captain stood firm. "Hold the line. Humanity does not retreat." Through shattered viewports, Earth shone bright. The beacon pulsed again. And for the first time, the swarm recoiled, as if the sound of Earth's heart burned them. The grey-haired commander's voice thundered across all channels. "Now, Council, you see the truth. This was never about you. This was never about conquest. This is the war we were born for. Fight beside us or perish alone." And in that moment something shifted. Alien fleets that once came to destroy Earth turned their guns outward. Dreadnoughts realigned, their cannons joining humanity's barrage. The Council's fractured armies began to fire in unison. The galaxy, for the first time, stood with Earth. The swarm screamed as worlds united under one banner. The battle became fire and blood and steel, but the line held. Humanity, once mocked, once silenced, now stood at the center of it all. In the council chamber, the elder reptilian's voice carried the final truth. They are not the weakest. They are the wall. Humanity is the roar in the darkness. And above Earth, the UNS Resolute surged forward, its cannons blazing, its captain's voice echoing like thunder. Earth stands, and the galaxy stands with us. Earth burning with light, fleets human and alien fighting side by side, the swarm crashing against them like waves against a mountain. Humanity no longer silent. Humanity roaring across the stars.